Yo, what is up YouTube? It is your boy Charles here, back again with a brand new video for y'all today. And today, this is a meta tier list video, so without further ado, drop the like button, feel free to comment, and always feel free to subscribe. So without further ado, let's begin. So, I only have 20 decks here, and obviously, the first thing we already saw is, Alistair. Yeah, there's nothing else to it. Like, Alistair is... all you do is just normal summon Alistair and that's it, and then the rest is from there on you just do the combos. So obviously Invoke Dogmatica Shadol is at tier 1 right now. This deck hasn't got hit once, not even one bit. Well, in terms of the Invoke Engine, obviously. Yeah, this deck itself, it's still at tier 1. Nadir Servant at 2. Like, this deck itself hasn't really made any changes. It's still the same exact deck, and honestly, I just hope like the next format, like they better hit like at least Magical Meltdown at most, like at least either 1 or 2, because like the deck is getting boring and we're kind of tired of seeing the same decks being used, and you know, it's just normal summon Alistair and then you just get Mechaba and DP on the field, and that's literally all you see. And then sometimes you see the Dogmatica engine like freaking Maximus and Ecclesia on the field, and then the end board will have Fleur-de-Lis like afterwards, and then you'll also have Shadol Winda. And that's another card to be look into because El Shadol Winda kind of stops. I mean, it stops both players from special summoning monsters, but like that card could be so irritating to deal with, and honestly, like, it's just annoying to deal with. Like, this engine is just boring, we're tired of seeing it, and this deck, no matter what, like, if they're not gonna hit this engine, then it's just gonna remain tier 1 for a very short period of time. So, please, for the love of God, whatever you do, like, hit at least Magical Meltdown. Because if they hit Magical Meltdown, I feel like all Invoke players are gonna play Despia, so whatever it is, you know, just whatever it takes, I guess. Altergeist. So now that skill drain's at 3, like, I feel like this deck is a little better now, just having another Floodgate. So I mean, like, I think it's at tier 2 at most. Like, this deck is really good. Still got MultiFaker at 3, like basically every Altergeist at 3 and stuff. Like, the deck is not bad, you know. Another good trap deck. It's just every time I had to face against an Altergeist player, I had to deal with Protocol every time, and that card itself is just so annoying. Like, it even says cannot be negated, so it's like you can't even imperm this card like it's nothing. So it's like, I mean, obviously what I meant to say imperm is like setting imperm face down and the next turn on their turn or something, or like freaking negating the column, negating the protocol in the same column as the infinite permanence is on. Like, it's just no point, honestly. Like, Protocol itself, that card is just so insane. And, you know, now that they got more Altergeist support during the Brothers of Legends, like, the deck is a little better, but I feel like right now, this deck is, like, somewhat okay, you know? It's still at the same exact tier 2 at most, so, yeah, the deck's not bad. Not bad. Just got skill drain at 3, so yeah, it's whatever. So anyways, the Water XC deck, this deck is not bad. It's still budget friendly, the deck is still good, and Totally Awesome is still at 3, which honestly, like, that's just insane. Like, this is what makes this deck is right now. Like, and then you have Bahamut Shark as a soft once per turn where you just bring out Totally Awesome, and honestly, it's just so insane. Like, it's so worth it, like, in terms of just investing the deck. Like, it's really good deck. Like, end board, you have 2 Omni Negates, like 2 Totally Awesomes on the field and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so good. Nothing else to it. Okay, so B Trooper. I mean, like, let's be real. I don't know how people managed to go top 4 with this deck. It's ridiculous. Like, if y'all see like the past history with this deck, like, I think somebody won like 2nd place with this deck against a Sword Soul, like the last format that we had with freaking Protoss at that time. Oh my god. I'm just glad, like I said, bro, I'm just glad Protoss is gone. Like, Protoss is just annoying to deal with, and I had to deal with Protoss like freaking yesterday on my locals. I'm like, freak, bro, Protoss is annoying, man. But like, damn, I'm just glad it's gone, you know? At least like this format's a little somewhat balanced, but now with the Brave engine being out, it's like the deck, like now like every single deck could be very good because of the Brave token. So it's like, okay, it's whatever, I guess. So B Trooper, this deck is somewhat okay. I think it's in between tier 2 or Rogue because of Renaissance Insect, where it's like, it's not a once per turn card, You can just constantly search that card, constantly search level 4 insect or lower, which is like insane. Like similar to Ben 10 where it just searches a ritual monster, but instead it's not like a level, it's just any ritual monster, I think. I don't know. I think it's a ritual monster. I mean, I don't play Drytrons, but like freaking Beetroover itself, it's just it's really good. Like, I'm just surprised that they still have Renaissance Insect at 3, which is not a once per turn. While Ben 10, it's at freaking 1. Which is crazy. Okay, so Drytron. So this deck is not the same like before. Eva and Ben 10, you know, those are like the two cards that are the reason why this deck is really good. Like, it still has a good end board, and people are starting to use Diviner the Herald a lot more now because it could change a level. Obviously, I've been seeing people using Baroness the Fleer on that deck recently. And honestly, it's not bad, like, because usually you see Diviner the Herald becoming a level 6 monster, then you have like a level 4 monster on the field or whatever. I don't know how the deck runs, honestly. It's just combos and combos all over again. But like, yeah, it still can do some, and it has a good end board engine, you know? Just, it could do a lot of things, but in terms of just a lot of negates, not as much like before. Especially that previous old format. With Eva 2, oh my god, Jesus. Everybody hated this deck, and to this day, I feel like people still hated this deck. So, honestly, we're gonna put this at tier 2. Just not tier 1 like before, but it's still a good deck though, don't get me wrong. Heroes, with heroes, I think they have a hero lives at semi-limited. It really kind of helps a lot with heroes, honestly. Like, they sometimes do brick every now and then like, you know, sometimes they don't because they got a good combo, don't get me wrong. Like, freaking I think it's Destiny Hero Plasma. That card is so irritating to deal with. Like, it's just a skill drain on the field, but like a little worse because freaking obviously heroes can do everything later on after their second turn. And like, yeah, this deck is really good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's not like as meta as like the rest of them. So obviously I think it's a rogue, to be honest. Nothing else to it. Eldlich, yes. Yeah, this deck, man, I have this deck too, and skill drain at 3. I can tell you, man, skill drain at 3 with this deck, oh my god. Like, they don't even have to deal with using their effects most of the time. Like, it's gonna be so annoying to deal with. Freaking Eldlich the Golden Wood, bro. Like, they need to hit at least 2 cards. Especially Scarlet Sanguine, especially that card, since it just brings out any zombie monster, really. But like, this deck is way better now. It's just so good. Tier 1. Like, you can't really, like, is this even a question, honestly? Skill drain at 3, like I said, like, it's just, unlike Altergeist, it doesn't have, like, big bodies compared to Eldlich himself, going at 35 attack. Like, damn, this deck is just so good, man. Everything about this deck is just so good. So, Evil Twin, Light Twin, obviously, I don't know if you have seen this deck in action, like, as much. I've been seeing, like, Halki Firebrax, Sword Soul, a lot of Halki Firebrax variants lately. I mean, like, it's not bad. It's interesting, but like, it's interesting. I don't know. It's weird to explain it. But like, anyways, we're talking about Evil Twins here, Chief. But like, this deck's interesting. They did have recent support from Burst of Destiny with the Link 4 monster, which it did help a lot. But they didn't have any new support ever since, so I mean, like, I think this deck is still a rogue, nothing else to it. Like, I haven't seen this deck in action, like, as of recent, but this is what I'm currently seeing right now, is just a rogue. So, Flanders, yeah, this deck is really, really good. It really stops every single combo deck you see normally. Like, it's so good because it just main decks, what's that card? D-Shifter. Yeah, that card is just so good, dude. Like, everything's all banish effects. And that's just how good this deck is. Like, you can't, I mean, I don't think they have graveyard effects, but it's mostly just banishing effects, and the fact that it can bring out the Omni Negate, the Mist Valley Apex Avion like it's nothing. Yeah, this deck could do a lot of things. Like, I feel like it could stop Invoked and Eldlich at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's on tier 1.5. Like, I don't know if this deck is ever gonna get hit at some point, but like, eventually in the future formats it might be, because this deck right now is gonna become a tier 0 for once. You know, it's gonna become a tier 0 for once soon in later formats, because like, this deck could do so much, and it doesn't even have to deal with special summoning whatsoever. It's just constant normal summons over and over and over. And yes, my friend, yeah, I faced against him with this deck, and like I kind of lost most of my games. Like, now you see why this deck is really good. And he didn't even have Ryza, the Mega Monarch. Like, it's without that card too, which is ridiculous. And it's very budgety. I feel like this deck at the same time is also worth buying because it's very, very cheap. The only card is just literally Ryza and maybe Pot of Prosperity, which I think everybody's running it on this deck too, so compared to Pot of Extravagance as a whole. But yeah, it's just so good of a deck. Eldlich, this deck is actually really a sleeper deck. If I remember, I think they just do normal summons as well as special summons, but I haven't looked into this deck as much because like not many people are playing this deck. Nothing else to it. The XYZ, I really like the Queen Tiramasu. My nose is itchy as hell, bro. Sorry, yo. Anyways, yeah, Queen Tiramasu, I think this card is what makes it so good of a deck, along with Eldlich Salon. Like, those two cards are kind of like the sole reason is what makes this deck so insane. I think along with the other XYZ monsters, like, it's like in between of an aggro slash a beatdown because they have more attack with the Eldlich Salon. I mean, not Salon, Eldlich Chateau. I think that's the field spell card name. Like, that card is just so good. Like, they don't even have to bring like negates and all that stuff. Like, they just constantly shuffle your cards. That's all it does. Shuffle into your deck from grave. Like, it's just like, okay, whatever. Might as well just get free resources and stuff, you feel me? Yeah, this deck itself is actually really good. Maybe in the future we might see this deck going somewhere. So right now I think it's at Rogue. And then Phantom Knights. Yeah, Phantom Knights, man. Oh my god. This is probably like the best deck of this format. Like, the best deck we have ever seen. And yeah, I think it's time for Torn Scales to get hit. Like, I think it's time because this card just does. It's a one card combo. Even though they have the Brave Token engine, like where it restricts you from restricts you from normal summon effects. Like, they can still do a lot of stuff. They can still do everything. Like, I think some people are underestimating having to put a Draco Future on this deck, but like, I think I've seen the OCG running that card in the deck, and like, honestly, it's just no question to it. Like, Phantom Knights is just the best deck of all time right now, like in this format, and you can't say nothing else to it. So, and then Prank Kids. So, Prank Kids with the Brave Token, this deck is really, really good. It got way better ever since. There's nothing else to it. Like, all they need is just their Omni Negate. And honestly, because Meow Meow Mew is on one, like, honestly, I don't think that wouldn't really make a difference because they got their Omni Negate on the field. And like, they just build their combo from there on. Like Nibiru in this format right now is not as good just because of the Brave Token. That's only the reason why. I think it's currently at 1.5 just because of the Brave Engine. And obviously, speaking of the Brave Engine, this is by far the best engine to splash every deck on that runs the Brave Token package. Like, it's just so good. Like, this freaking whole engine, like, I literally put this tier list just for this. Like, this is the reason why I just put it just for that. Like, it's so good. You can't say nothing else to it. Like, we're gonna have to be stuck with this freaking format for the next 2 or 3 months until another ban list comes out, you know? Once that happens, we're gonna have to deal with Branded Despia next. And I am not looking forward for that format because we have Super Poly at 3, and so far nobody's not really running Super Poly in OCG as much. But dude, Super Poly at 3 in CCG, that's a big problem. Like, it's a big problem, even though it's a situational card. I'm just scared of the freaking future formats we're gonna have to deal with because I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for it, man. Like, I'm just not prepared at all. Salmon Great. So recently, Salmon Great Circle is at semi-limited for this recent ban list, and honestly, the deck is a little better, but it's just exactly the same. Like, it's just a free searchable card. Honestly, still the same deck, like nothing else to it. But at least the deck is a little better with the 2 Salmon Great Circle. Just imagine 3 Salmon Great Gazelle. That'll be funny. I'm joking. That's not gonna happen ever again. But like, yeah, Salmon Great is still at the same tier. Nothing else to it. I mean, I think it's just like the whole point of this deck, just bring out Access Code Talker on the second turn, and then yeah, that's kind of all it is. Sky Striker hero variant, that's probably like the best variant for this deck. Yeah, I think it's at tier 1.5. There's nothing else to it really. Like, the deck is just too good. Freaking Engage at 1. Imagine if this was OCG. freaking engage at 2, this deck would have been tier 1 right now. But it's at tier 1.5 for that reason, but it's a really good deck, don't get me wrong. But right now, it's been Phantom Knights taking over the meta, so. Dragon Link. So I think there's like a monster recently that's coming out of Battle of Chaos. I think it's called a Zombie Vampire. I think everyone's been looking into that card recently. And I think they're also using this in Dragon Link, but I might be wrong. Let me know down below in the comment section. Yeah, this deck is still, it's not gonna die anytime soon. Like, it's not gonna die anytime soon. Like, this deck is still at tier 2. It's just too good. Like, Strike a Dragon, man. Strike a Dragon at 1, man. Just like Prank Kids, but instead of Prank Kids with the Brave Engine, this is why it's tier 1.5. Well, Dragon League obviously is at tier 2.0, so yeah, you guys get what I mean. So, Sword Soul. Yes, this deck is unquestionably, without a doubt, tier 1. Freaking with pure Sword Soul, like it can still bring out freaking 3 negates, 2-3 negates. Like they can still do a lot of stuff. Like after turn 2, you know, like it's such a good deck, honestly. And now with Halki Firebreak's Sword Soul engine, like now that deck's a little better. Like you can't say nothing else to it. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just Sword Soul. I wish I can afford that deck, but it's just so expensive. I really love this deck. Like, I won a lot of games on EDO Pro with this deck, and it's just so good. Like, you can't really say anything else from there. Tri Brigade. Yeah, Tri Brigade. I think pure Tri Brigade itself is at tier 1. With Lunalight, I think Lunalight Tiger, we got one. This deck is like, still, like, this deck itself, it's not gonna die anytime soon, unless Fractal is at 1. Which I feel like it might be at one day. Like, it's still tier 1, and the fact that Ominous Omen could just banish any freaking card was just so good, man. That's why, like, Bird Up is just the best deck in the last format. Freaking Simorg, bring out an Omni Negate and a freaking Floodgate, like, once only per turn. Like, my god. I'm just glad that Simorg was banned. It was time for that card to be gone because it's just so insane. But freaking Tri Brigade Lyrilless, it was my deck, but now I think it's Eldlich now. That's probably gonna be my best deck of this format, honestly. But like freaking Tri Brigade, man, it's just so good, man. Freaking Omen. I hope one day they might hit that card. Omen's just insane. Dinosaurs. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, like without Miscellaneous at 3, like it would have been. I mean, with Miscellaneous at 3, this would have been like tier 1 on the spot, but I don't think this deck hasn't really changed as much. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a very good deck, very powerful deck, but with Misk at 1 is like, it's not really the best deck in my opinion, but it's like a sleeper deck right now with like so many negates they have on the field. So right now, I think it's at Rogue for the time being. And the last deck, Virtual World, yes, this deck is actually really good. Freaking so many variants now. Like, yeah, we don't have to use True King, but the hand loops of this deck, like, are you kidding me? Like, this deck is really good. Just so much combos you could do, and bringing out at least like 3 or 4 negates on the field, like that's crazy stuff, you know. Like this deck is so crazy just for the hand loops, and now with the Brave engine, and you have the Sword Soul Virtual World engine from the last format, they might have to hit Lulu at some point. I think that's like probably like the key card to why this deck is really good, because it also has a search bull after the first effect is resolved. Like, this is one of my favorite decks ever. Like, it's just so good. Like, if I'm gonna like choose which tier, it's probably gonna be tier 1.5. But yeah, this is basically my tier list. What do you guys think about it? I'm willing to take any criticism from you guys in the comment section down below. And yeah, guys, this is basically my tier list. And also, this is Charles here, without a doubt. So yeah, guys, without further ado, this is Charles, and I'm out of here. So peace out, y'all.
Fired up. Girl, I can't take it, these temptations. Keep my heart racing, make love faces.